Hello, folks. Thank you for watching EV Tech News YouTube channel. Today is an exclusive interview with Mr. Sohinder Gill, who is the CEO of Hero Electric, India's leading OEM in electric two-wheeler manufacturing. Thank you, Mr. Gill, for sparing your time with us. It is my pleasure to welcome you to our show.
Pleasure.
Yes, sir. To start with, as we know that the pandemic-induced lockdown has completely brought the automotive industry to a complete standstill. Now, how is Hero Electric coping up with this major impact on its course? And what are the major strategies or plans that Hero Electric is doing at present? Now, we are talking at this present almost a month after the government has eased lockdown on manufacturing units and larger suppliers as well. So, what is the status right now at your side, and how is your company coping up with this COVID-19 impacts?
Yeah. Well, the first things first, because everybody in automotive industry and any capital good industry is facing the first resistance
Right.
of people not coming out to buy anything which is big ticket.
Hmm.
Because today the norm is conserve your cash, don't spend. God knows what is going to happen. So that is the first resistance that every industry is facing. But out of that, there are some contradictory things that are happening. That is the need of commuting safely. So the things that are coming to the minds of especially public transport commuter is whether I'm safe in public transport, in spite of so many things that government is trying to do of making it sanitizing properly, and only 50% of the capacity of the buses or metros, etc. Still, there is a lurking fear in the minds of customer that, oh, every day in the morning, evening, I'm going to use the buses, rickshaws, etc. Am I safe?
Mm.
More than my safety, is my family safe when I come back home from work or business? So that is something now pulling the customer in a different direction, that even if I don't want to spend money, I must spend some money to buy a personal transport.
Mm.
When he starts thinking of buying a personal transport, the first thing that comes to his mind is that today I was spending 80 to 100 rupees per day two ways for a public transport, including e-rickshaw and last mile connectivity. Whether I'll start spending more than that when I go for a personal transport, or can I, in the same money, have a running cost which is equal to or less than what was the cost earlier.
Right.
So that is where it starts making sense about electric vehicles.
Mm.
Why? Because when he chooses between a second-hand scooter motorcycle, or a brand new petrol motorcycle scooter, or an electric two-wheeler. Now, either of these two choices, when he thinks of buying a second-hand motorcycle scooter,
Mm.
he finds that the running cost itself is something like 1 liter a day, means 80 rupees a day.
Mm.
And the maintenance of that two-wheeler second-hand is going to start in 3 months' time.
Mm.
So even if he is spending only 30,000-40,000 rupees on two-wheeler, that second-hand, he is having a risk of higher running cost,
Right.
including maintenance. In case of a like scooter, which is brand new petrol or a motorcycle, he finds that these days, most of them have become very costly because of BS6. And again, the running cost, even if maintenance is very less in the initial stages, the servicing cost and running cost will be almost similar, 60, 70 rupees a day for a very efficient product also. So in all, then he starts thinking about electric. That let me also think of electric. People are saying it is very good and all. There are so many companies selling. Hero is a good name. So when he starts talking to us through our website or otherwise contacting our dealers, he finds that even the initial cost and running cost are very favorably poised. For example, most of our products are less than 60-70,000 rupees. Most of the bikes. And the running cost, as everybody knows, for the first 3 years, when the warranty is 3 years for battery as well as vehicle, the only running cost is charging cost.
Right.
And the charging cost is what? Depending on the commute, if it is 60-kilometer commute, it is 12 rupees, 14 rupees, 16 rupees.
Mm.
Besides that, maintenance is hardly anything and servicing is hardly anything. It's free services for the first 1 year.
Right.
So that equation of, whether I can conserve resources and yet have a personal commute is working in favor of Hero. And also other two-wheelers also, electric two-wheelers.
Okay.
And within that, the trusted brand like Hero is taking advantage.
Right. I was about to come to this narrative because lately, as we could see that across India as well as in international markets as well, we see that we see this popular narrative that electric vehicles will be in higher demand post this lockdown or even post the pandemic period. Now, as you said, like Hero Electric is also like giving that narrative in India as well. But my question to you is like, considering that there is an economics slowdown or even a recession that people are looking at. So they will be even more thrifty in their spending, and they would like to make their choices to most reliable options at present. So in that regard, where does electric vehicles actually stand? What does it mean to Indian customers who are very cost conscious as well as who also think a lot about the reliability factor as well? What are the USPs for electric vehicles, perhaps from Hero Electric's products
Yeah.
perspective?
See, the cost, I already told you, it is favorably poised against the petrol vehicle, whether it is second hand or a new.
Right.
But reliability is, yes, certainly a question in the mind of a customer, because
Mm.
there are hardly any vehicles on the road.
Mm.
And that is where brand plays a large role.
Okay.
So the reliability comes from a commitment of a brand behind the product.
Mm.
And there are hardly any brands, big brands, into the electric two-wheeler space now.
Mm.
In four-wheeler, yes, there are. There are Tatas and Mahindras and now MG and Konas, etc. But in two-wheelers, there are hardly any brands, right?
Mm.
So that's where the commitment or the trust of the brand Hero tilts the customer in the favor of, okay, let me trust this brand. Let me think about it.
Mm.
Let me also go into the website and they find that we have 300,000 customers who have been buying our vehicle, and we are there for 12 years.
Okay.
And we are doing so much other than our own organization. We are doing so much for the electric mobility through our SMEV, as well as our charging boards, around 3,000 of them, or 500 of them, and PGOs, which is mechanics training, around 5,000. That all put together gives a lot of trust to the customer. I'm not saying that our sales have started skyrocketing. I'm talking relative.
Okay.
When the sales of petrol two-wheelers has been only 5 to 10, 12% of year-on-year, month-to-month basis, we have done far better than that. All I'm saying is this.
Okay.
We have
So
still to reach our previous year volumes.
Right. Right now, what is the status at Hero Electric, sir? Is your manufacturing back to like normal operations or pre-COVID status? And what about the status at your dealerships across India?
No, manufacturing, no, not at all, because we are suffering because our labor, which was regular, they were from the hills or they were from the neighboring states. So they went back to home.
Okay.
The casuals, which is around 10-20%, they have migrated back to distant places like Bihar and Jharkhand, etc.
Mm.
So when we wanted them to come back, because we wanted to start manufacturing, we found two type of embargoes. One was the Punjab government does not allow more than 30% in the factory, and we are not even able to get the 30%.
Okay.
So our manufacturing is started, but limping back. Dealerships luckily have started opening in the last 15-20 days. We have now 85% of dealerships open now. We have 400 main dealers and 200 sub dealers. Out of that, the main dealers 80% have opened, which means more than 300 dealers have opened now, 340 or something.
And,
so that's
and
why
I
our
guess,
network has come back.
right. And I guess you have enabled online sales as well, like direct customers can book your products as well as, so that's something, a kind of a strategy for at present, right?
Yeah, that was a very well thought of strategy that people today are obviously wanting contactless type of a delivery, contactless type of a interaction, and contactless type of a service. So from that point of view, as soon as we locked down in the March end, we thought that, okay, let us try and serve the customer in a very different way than we were doing. We were all the time believing on a very strong network, 600 strong network, touch and feel, come to our showrooms, have a look at the vehicle. We started saying, okay, we will sanitize our showrooms. We have already done it. If you want to come, great, we'll help you. But if you don't want to come, please look at our products online. Please, talk to us, or we will talk to you. For example, even if customers were giving all the leads, and we had more than 25-30,000 leads in the last 2 months, we were proactively talking to the customers. Means our dealers, our sales staff, our head office senior management, including me. We had town halls with the prospective customers to explain to them electric vehicles, not only Hero, but general electric vehicles. And one thing we told them in that is that today is the thing, today is the time when you can do something for the environment.
Mm.
You are seeing the effect of absence of petrol vehicles onto the goodness of the bouncing back of environment. So when you buy electric, keep in mind that you are doing something for the society, for the country, and for your family. So that is what we were driving home, that please think wisely when you go for any petrol guzzler or polluting vehicle henceforth, because we all want to preserve nature now. One of the learnings. So that has led to a lot of mindset change. People are not buying because of environment, but they are feeling proud because of they have bought something which is environment friendly.
Okay.
So these 2-3 things, and top of it, one thing that great idea came from one of our staff colleague was, why not start, when we are so confident of our product, why not start 3 days, no question asked, return policy. So we started around 1.5 months back. Okay, you have booked the vehicle, you have paid the money, take the vehicle, run it for 3 days. And if you don't like it, just tell us, we'll pick the vehicle and give you the money back.
Okay.
So that has given so much of confidence to the customer that, okay, here is a company which says, okay, try my product. If you don't like it, don't take it. So all these things were new ideas which came up: virtual showroom, home service, home deliveries, COVID-proof showrooms, everything on online, explaining personally, proactive calling. That has led to a lot of positiveness into the network, into our employees, and also had a very good inquiry level with us.
Okay, and also as against conventional vehicle manufacturers, electric vehicles have this advantage of having zero maintenance in the initial days, right? So there is no need for any periodic, say, maintenance or service after like 3 months of the purchase or 6 months of the purchase. I guess, does that help you in any regard in that as far as this lockdown situation is concerned?
Two things are coming very positive for any electric vehicle, whether it is electric car or two-wheeler, any personal vehicle. One is, it is home to home. Like, you don't pick up a car, a petrol car, and go from here to office and come back. You have to go through a petrol pump. Same is electric two-wheeler or petrol two-wheeler. Once you are going to a petrol pump or to a service station, you are bound to again exchange currency notes or exchange hands and again get exposed. Here is something you would pick up from your parking lot, wherever you are parked, go straight to your work, come back in the safety zone. So that is a great thing that has happened. Second, obviously, everybody knows that electric two-wheelers and electric cars have such few moving parts. There is nothing wear and tear, no rubbing part. So absolutely, there is no heat, no vibration. Then that's why there is no maintenance. It's not a magic. So all that happens is tires and brakes and bulbs and something like accidental things which go wrong. Therefore, the maintenance is a big winner here. Another thing is simplicity of maintenance. Half the things are DIY, do it yourself. Like, it takes only 5 minutes to replace a controller or a charger. The engine doesn't have to be down to see what has gone wrong with it. So ease of maintenance, quickness of maintenance, and hardly any maintenance, along with hardly any service. Although we insist customers to come to service station or we go home for a free service, but there is nothing much to do except check everything is all right. The wiring is all right, nut and bolts are tightened, and educate the customer how to take care of the vehicle, because it's a new vehicle. So we take service as an opportunity to educate rather than service the vehicle or maintain the vehicle.
Right.
So service is very simple. Service is hardly any cost. So free services are there, and people forget to avail it. We keep reminding them, please come for a service. They don't need it. They say, what would you do? You'll just wash the vehicle and give it back to me. So it's virtually zero maintenance, but less maintenance, less service.
Okay, right. And as far as this pandemic impacts is concerned, as we know that the automotive industry is facing serious disruptions of demand and supply chains. And now my question is like specific to an EV manufacturer or to an EV industry. How different is this industry per se as against conventional vehicle manufacturers and suppliers? Is there any exception to this segment as such in terms of the current impacts, or it is the same as how every other manufacturers are facing in the country? My question is because, for instance, the EV industry has a higher dependence on some of the key components like batteries to be imported from other countries, which include China as well. So are there any different scenario that is the EV industry facing with regard to pandemic impacts, or is it the same as the rest of the automotive industry?
No, it's a little different. There are positives and negatives. Like
Mm,
negatives, you have already told.
mm,
Still, the cells are coming from outside, even if batteries are assembled in India.
mm,
Still, motors of all the varieties are not being made in India.
mm,
So, import dependence is there on China, Korea, and Taiwan, depending on where you want to buy.
mm,
Therefore, there's a long supply chain, and anything that happens internationally affects the EV.
mm,
But on the other hand, the positive part is, as I told you, there are only 22 moving parts against 232 moving parts.
mm,
So the inventory, stocking, supplies, vendor base, number of vendors,
mm,
and working capital, and so many things are much less cumbersome. What you lose on a long import chain, you
mm,
gain on a completely nimble-footed, very lean supply chain of very few components,
mm,
which are sort of completely finished. For example, controller is completely finished, motor is completely finished. In the case of engine is not completely finished. You buy a piston, you buy a ring, you buy cylinder, then you try to assemble, machine them. Here it is somebody who is creating the whole thing and giving it to you.
mm,
So from that point of view, it is much simpler to manufacture, much simpler to handle in inventory, stock taking, and much lighter on working capital. So
mm.
that's a difference. So positives, negatives, both are there. I think the positives outweigh the negative quite a lot.
Okay. And so, what is the outlook, or what is your assessment of the immediate future for the EV manufacturers in India? For instance, like considering the electric three-wheeler segment in India, which is the most popular segment as of now, consists of a lot of unorganized manufacturers, right? So they all import components from, say, Chinese and Korean suppliers. So, what will be the impact on their business in the coming years, and how is this good for organized players like your company, or what is your assessment in this regard?
See, in the space of three-wheelers, it's an excellent solution for last mile connectivity, everybody knows.
Mm,
But today, because it's not being handled so well,
mm,
therefore you find those rickety, old, dilapidated, assembled, fly-by-night operators doing the job, and therefore coming out with poor type of products, not good quality, not safe type of products onto the road.
okay.
But then there are very good companies who are like Mahindra's, Kinetic, and so many others who have started coming out with very good e-rickshaws.
Mm,
So it is a churning that is happening.
mm,
Consolidation will certainly happen. And government is also very aware of these things that, okay, they can't be putting bad automobiles onto the road. I believe there will be very good certification measures in the future. But coming back to, the type of situation in two-wheelers, it is also the similar that there are some fly-by-night operators who are churning out material and throwing into the ocean. We from association try to dissuade those or try to educate them to come up to a quality standard. But otherwise, if you see that this type of industry is going through a churning process. So this COVID is going to certainly hit the lower rung of the market, which means people who are doing very skimpy, very empirical, not very good quality job, they will be the sufferers. Because customer has become much more value conscious than before. Earlier he was cost conscious, now he's value conscious. So from value consciousness point of view, he's picking the cherries. So he'll be very careful, again, buying a product from an unknown name, unknown source, and burning his fingers rather than putting his money a little extra, 20%, 10% extra into a good product. So from that point of view, already so many organizations are suffering during this COVID, the small timers and the fly-by-night operators. But we'll find in sometime, there'll be consolidation. Some of them will be going out. Some new ones will come up. Even Bajaj has come out with it. TVS has come. So good parties will also come into the game. And it will become more and more organized sector in times to come.
Okay, sir. As far as technological megatrends in EV industry is concerned, say for instance, having connected mobility, or even trying to make certain operations more autonomous with the advent of Industry 4.0 or something, or even bringing different, say, connective, like mobile technologies, or which can be used for shared mobility platforms and all. So these are something that is catching up in India as well. Now, considering that this COVID-19 pandemic has impacted the cash flows of both the EV manufacturers as well as suppliers and technology partners as well, uh, how is this discourse going to be? Do you think like Indian industry will take a setback in terms of development or progress in terms of achieving new technologies, or you find that this will speed up the technological advancement as far as EVs is concerned? What is your take on that?
See, technology should be partitioned into two areas.
Mm,
One is straight low-hanging fruits, short-term relevance to customer in the immediate or near future. And second is futuristic horizon technologies, which are going to lead the way in 5 years to 10 years time. Now, at this point of time, I agree that futuristic technologies are slightly, they're taking a backseat because people don't want to spend in some riskier areas, which may or may not lead into business results. But surely technologies which are short to medium term or short run technologies, they are taking accelerated leap now. For example, battery technology. Now, everybody is focusing so much on a 1 million mile battery, for example. Already Tesla has announced 1 million mile battery. GM is announcing. Chinese are saying the same. So imagine if the 1 million miles battery is coming to our vehicles also, and it will surely come in 1 or 2 years. Imagine the fuel cost. What will happen today? Today, what we have, we are talking about battery life of 5 years. Nowhere near 1 million. So if the day we have 1 million life battery at affordable rate, who will buy a petrol two-wheeler? And battery is something which is replaceable. So if you are buying any two-wheeler, electric two-wheeler, next time when you are buying the battery, you are putting that 1 million mile battery. So you don't have to wait for 3 years to switch over to electric two-wheeler or electric car now. That of replacement, you can switch to a better technology. So any technology that is to do with basic value proposition is taking accelerated strides. Any technology which is IoT, which is connected, autonomous, or otherwise smart, is slightly, people are going slow on it because they say, okay, we can do it 1 year later also. No? Because big data handling and connecting and using the data is not a priority of the day today. That's why the money is being funneled onto making reliable vehicles, quality vehicles, value for money vehicles, and what make relevance for the customer today. Not frills and fancies, not something which he would need in the future or may like to have it. So must and want wala fark hai.
Right. So it's good that you mentioned battery manufacturing. Now, considering that we are talking about self-reliance in terms of having less dependence on imports of key supplies. Now, what will be the future of battery manufacturing in India? I know that there are many, companies who are assembling batteries here, but they are still dependent on the cells which are manufactured either by Korean companies or Chinese partners. So what will be the future of battery manufacturing in India? Is this pandemic going to be a boon for our self-reliance on battery manufacturing, or is it going to still take some time to catch up with that?
Not really a pandemic, but the side effect of pandemic of anti-China sentiment is certainly going to play something into the cell manufacturing.
Okay.
Because every government around the world, and so also India, is wanting to become more self-reliant on such technologies and less dependent on sources which are unpredictable and which create so much anti-sentiments also in the world. So from that point of view, Indian government is very, very serious to set up those 10 plants of 5 gigawatts each into 10. And they are trying hard to talk to people of everybody who is outside getting technology into India and everybody who's inside to set up a plant. That I think in around 6 months to 12 months time, there will be 2 or 3 parties who will take the leap of faith and start their manufacturing plant, other than the ones which captively like Mahindra has or Maruti has for their own needs. There will be people who are generally making batteries for everybody. So in around 1.5 to 2 years time, we will find cells being made in India, I believe strongly now, because so much of push is there, so much of incentivizing is being talked of, and so much of relevance is coming because of higher possibility of more electric vehicles in future, that there will be some people who are internationally technology givers and Indian big players who will jump into this. So if cells are made in India, rest of it is already being assembled in India or made in India. The cells are the critical part, which is 60 to 70, 80% of the cost of the vehicle, of the battery. So from that point of view, those components, which are fuel components, I believe in 2 to 3 years time, we will have reliance at least on manufacturing, but we will still have to find minerals, metals, and such like things like lithiums and cobalt to be mined within India or to be got from elsewhere. But that is the world today. There is so much of interdependence. No country has all the metals and metallurgy in its soil, but there is a barter there. So I don't think it is going to be like an oil economy which is going to push into another corner. It will be a very good balance of fuel available from many sources around the world, ultimately bringing down the crude oil consumption, foreign exchange outflows, and increase the self-reliance for India.
Okay, right. Moving on, since the whole nation is fighting a pandemic and government is facing huge, financial burdens, And now we also saw that the union government came up with a stimulus package of 20 lakh crore for different industries in India. Now, thinking about EVs in India, so far the story is that electric vehicles need some kind of a subsidy from government side. And so we had FAME 1, and now from last year we had FAME 2 scheme as well. Now, what will be the say future of FAME 2 in India, considering that the government is also facing a lot of financial burden? Do you think it will be interested in supporting the scheme even further, or even take it to different level? What is your assessment in that
See, this question is very often asked to me as a head of SMEV.
regard?
And my reply is that government has so much to do for the poor people
Mm,
that we shouldn't be, inching towards government and trying to gnaw away more from the exchequer
mm,
in order to survive. So time
right.
has come to be self-reliant and fight your own battles.
Mm,
And government in FAME 1 had already outlaid 10,000 crores.
mm,
So we are not at all saying that they should increase it to 20,000 crore or 30,000 crore. What we are saying is what you had allocated, great, very good.
mm,
Only let us see how much has been spent, where it has been spent, has it given the desired results? If not, let us correct it.
mm,
Because out of 10,000 crore, I believe very little has been spent till now. And
okay.
in FAME 1.5, 2 years, nothing has really happened on the subsidy front. So all the government has to do is rethinking about what has happened, what has gone wrong, what has gone right, and together with industry, charter a new course of path so that this 10,000 crore virtually leads to a very accelerated adoption in a short term.
Mm,
Because in electric vehicles, that is the only magic we can do. We
mm,
can create something like 1 or 2 million electric two-wheelers and cars, etc., or buses in a short time. In a short time, in maybe 10 cities, polluting cities of India. So,
mm,
like a pilot project. Because an electric vehicle today need nothing else but visibility,
mm,
awareness, positive word of mouth. So if we have 2 million vehicles running on the road, including delivery boys who can be mandated to start, like Amazon, Flipkart, imagine if there are many on the road. Today, you hardly see any. People will ask those guys who are running electric two-wheelers or car, have you bought a great thing? Obviously, that guy will say yes or no, but most of them will say yes. So they'll say, oh, wonderful thing I have bought. So noiseless, no vibration, no heat, environment friendly, saves money for me, saves pollution for the country. So many good things that others will then jump into it.
mm,
So it is waiting to happen, the inflection point.
mm,
That's why I keep saying that let's not waste this subsidy money over 5 years, 4 years.
mm,
Let us spend it in 1 or 2 years,
mm,
get many vehicles on the road in close spaces, maybe 10 cities, 15 cities, and then forget it. You will automatically see that inflection point has reached. 10 people, one guy will talk to 10 guys, 10 guys will talk to 100 guys,
mm.
and the adoption will start. So I
Right.
believe 10,000 crore is enough. All we have to do is relay out which way it should be spent, how it should be spent, how fast it should be spent.
Right. And just to wind up, like coming back to your company's strategy and plans, and now I guess like Hero Electric has a lot of products within the affordable segment. Now, and I also presume that last year you must have had a phenomenal growth, and you must have thought or had very grand plans for this present financial year as well. Now we have this pandemic right now. There are huge impacts. Are there any change in such strategies or plans that you had for this financial year? And what is going to be the product strategy for the coming years? Are you going to stick to your previous plan of bringing more products? And I also believe that you're going to come up with 2 new products in the immediate time frame. So what happens to your product strategy as such? What will be your major focus area within the two-wheeler segment? Are there any plans to venture into other segments like a commuter bike uh, powered by batteries or something, or even into the three-wheeler segment, say a reliable solution for the e-rickshaws right now, which are currently not that great as such. So what is your thoughts on that?
Well, in this 12 years of Hero being in the business,
Mhm.
like we have become shock proof in a way, I keep telling.
Okay.
Because there have been so many ups and downs, not this pandemic. This is a tragedy that has happened to the country and crisis that we are all going through.
Mhm.
But shocks in electric vehicle are a normal part of the business.
Okay.
Withdrawal of subsidies, sudden changes in policies,
Mhm.
and so many other things like the dollar increasing and all the things. So we have been shock proof in a way. Yes, last year was a record year. It was a historically high year. In fact, till in the March was a record high month of doubling the sales of month on month. And we were running against a goalpost of doubling it further in the next year. And then this pandemic suddenly hit us as if you are doing a huge sprint and there is a wall in front of you and you hit the wall. So obviously it takes time to recover from that. There was a big we were ready for the grand party for the celebration of the last year our achievements, and then one day we said, okay, let's go back home and close ourselves, don't even come out of your doors. So those type of things have happened. It's never in the history we have faced all this, never in our lives we have faced such a crisis. So from that point of view, we have also changed quite a bit our strategies. Like one of them you have already discussed, that we changed suddenly from mix of only offline largely to mix of offline and online. That is the biggest change we have. Second is to really talk to customers proactively rather than waiting in the showrooms and waiting for customers to talk to us. Third is offering special services which are very, very friendly to the customer so that he gets the trust of the brand into the realities of the vehicle that he has. As far as the future plan is concerned, we also changed a bit. We thought that, okay, everybody is running a mad race of faster cars, quicker ones, more torque, more speed, more this thing, zing zang. No, this is the time for people saying, if I have 10 rupees in a pocket, I will think 10 times before spending that 10 rupees. These things can happen. This mad race of the world can keep on happening and it can restart any point of time. Let us try and service the customers whose needs are today that, okay, I want something which is very reliable. I want something which is not going to guzzle my pocket. I want something which gives me assurance that it will be with me for giving me solutions out of the problems I have of safety concerns, public transport or social distancing problems or environment to a certain extent in many minds of people. So we have refocused ourselves into affordable category and pushed back those high speeds gizmos that we wanted to have. Obviously not for volumes, but for telling the world, see, electric can go 2 times the speed of petrol. We were not there for sales of those. We were there to demonstrate that electric is a wonderful thing. If you want it for lifestyle, you can have it for lifestyle. If you want it for affordability, you can have affordability. But for the time being, what we have thought of is no. Let us steer ourselves. Let us confine ourselves. Let us put the resources into something which is more relevant to the ground, and take this as a chance to expand our business and also electric two-wheeler category into a sizable category, so that environmental impact of this, because most important today is what? Can we learn out of this? Can we clean our environment? So if government is serious with us and we are doing our bit of better quality products, I think in 5 to 10 years time, we will have sizable number of two-wheelers electric on the road to have a positive impact on the environment. And if air pollution reduces, pandemics you will get much more. In fact, there was a Harvard study which said that PM 2.5 is greatly linked to resistance of lungs going down, and people who are living in 2.5 may succumb to pandemics like COVID in a much more worse way. It's a direct link now, pollution and pandemics. So can we do something for it? Are we not seeing enough reason of doing it? So our single objective today is in reaching that level where we create a sizable impact in India or even around India, because we are a global player now, about contributing significantly to reduction of air pollution and cleaner environment. And every objective gets so well aligned with that. Because anything we do, our factories are SAE 8000. My office is a LEED building, green building. Everything we do in the offices are also with green habits and practices. Our batteries are recycled so well. We don't allow them to be thrown here and there. So it's a type of a passion that we are following. And we want to continue with that. So our objective would be to produce those products which lend to environment, not only give lifestyles or not only give, premium products which are zing zang and you enjoy them. Fine, they will be there.
All right, sir. So thank you so much. We also believe that electric vehicles can make a huge difference in the Indian market as well. Just that it has to wait for the right time. I guess it has to tweak with the customers as well. Now, customers are very conscious, cost conscious. They're also reliability conscious, as you said. And Hero Electric is one brand that has brought reliable two-wheelers in the space, and it is one of the pioneer in bringing, say, to make sure that the electric two-wheelers can also withstand or on par with other conventional two-wheelers as well. So we believe that definitely Hero Electric can make a huge difference in the coming years as well. Thank you so much, sir. We
Yeah,
also
yeah. See, I personally believe sometimes these tragedies and shocks
Mhm.
are change points also. So
Right.
I firmly believe that this crisis that we have all got into is a change point in our mindsets and
Right.
in the thinking process and in our businesses. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Right.
Bye bye.